Good. If I could have gotten 51 votes in the Senate of the United States for an outright ban, picking up every one of them, Mr. and Mrs. America, turn them all in, I would have done it. I could not do that. The votes weren't here.
I think, we've got to sit down and really come to grips with what is sold to the average citizen in America. I have no problem with people being licensed, buying a firearm, but these are weapons that you're only going to use them to kill people in close combat. That's the purpose of that weapon. You can put a hellfire switch on it. You can fire semi-automatic very rapidly. This drum was huge. He had 100 bullets in it, and he went out to kill a lot of people. I think that these weapons ought to be stopped. I think the sale and transfer, that's what my bill did for 10 years.
Mr. and Mrs. America, turn them all in.
Let me flip it around on you, because I've heard more and more people, surprising number of people to me in the last couple of days, say the problem isn't too many guns, it's too few, and that if somebody in that theater had been armed, they could have stopped the shooting, let me stop the carnage, taken down the shooter, and defended themselves. Do you agree with that?
Well, it's certainly one of the rationales behind concealed carry, where criminals actually have to be a little concerned before they commit a criminal act that maybe somebody could stop them. And I think that is the truth, that if somebody, a responsible individual, had been carrying a weapon, maybe they could have prevented some of those deaths, some of those injuries. I think that's just the truth.
And maybe you could have had a firefight and killed many more people. These are people in a theater.
But
this
you
is
had a massacre. You had a massacre as it was with them undefended.
That's
Senator.
right. That's
Mr. and Mrs. America, turn them all in.
Because less than 20 years ago, I was the target of a terrorist group. It was the New World Liberation Front. They blew up power stations and put a bomb at my home when my husband was dying of cancer. And the bomb was set to detonate around 2 o'clock in the morning, but it was a construction explosive that doesn't detonate when it drops below freezing. It doesn't usually freeze in San Francisco, but on this night it dropped below freezing and the bomb didn't detonate. I was very lucky, but I thought of what might have happened. Later, this same group shot out all the windows of my home, and I know the sense of helplessness that people feel. I know the urge to arm yourself, because that's what I
If
did.
I could have gotten 51 votes in the Senate of the United States for an outright ban, picking up every one of them, Mr. and Mrs. America, turn them all in, I would have done it. I could not do that. The votes weren't.
I was trained in firearms. My husband was sick. I carried a concealed weapon. I made the determination that if somebody was going to try to take me out, I was going to take them with me.
States for an outright ban, picking up every one of them, Mr. and Mrs. America, turn them all in, I would have